So it is time to start harvesting my spring carrots. I didn't want them to go woody, so I knew any day I needed to start harvesting them. Which this particular day, I honestly was not planning to harvest all these carrots, but something was telling me that I really needed to get this done. What that something was my husband actually hurt his arm. He tore off the bicep off of his shoulder, so we knew July 1st was coming and he was going to have surgery July 1st. So I had that in my mind that I wanted to get these harvested before his surgery because this is quite a bit of carrots to harvest. So really I was going to do one variety at a time each day because there's just so many carrots. But after I got done with the first variety, I'm like, you know, I can do one more variety. There's only 3 varieties in this bed. So after I got done with the second variety, I'm like, you know what, let's just finish this, get this done. So I literally harvested all of the carrots and I found this garden table. I call this my garden table because it's actually a garage sale find. It's the perfect table for gardening. Literally just put everything on here, and if I need to use the water hose to wash everything off, it's perfect for that. So I'm just washing off these carrots, getting all the dirt off. There was quite a bit of dirt in the cracks of these carrots, so I'm gonna have to peel them whenever it's time to can them. My plan is to can all of these spring carrots, so I'm just going to go ahead and start washing them, taking the tops off, and then I'm going to take them inside later and I'm going to put them into some bread bags and I'm going to store them into my refrigerator until it's time to start canning them. So like I said, I had 3 varieties growing in this garden bed, and I actually have a couple videos back of me planting all of these. And I really want to narrow down the variety that I really would just want to grow every spring. I love growing new things. I love trying new things, but I think I'm more of an experienced gardener now that I kind of just want to narrow down what I truly love and like to eat. And that's kind of like how me and my husband are looking at everything now. We just want to grow what we truly eat from here on out. That being said, this goes for more of my canning variety, of the variety that I want to narrow down, because this fall I actually have a few new varieties, but it's going to be different for my fall carrots just because they're going to stay in the ground the whole entire time. I'm not going to can them. I'm just going to go out to the garden and grab exactly what I need to eat for dinner or lunch or whatever. So my fall stuff is going to be completely different from my spring stuff, so I'm just trying to narrow down my spring varieties. So for many years I have tried to grow really big carrots, really long and big carrots, and I never really accomplished that until last year. I ended up adding some sand to this garden bed, and I'm telling you what, that has been a game changer. And obviously putting some homemade compost in here spring and fall and mixing everything in. But adding that sand has really loosened up this soil, and I have seen a huge difference this year in the size of my carrots. So that's what my goal was this whole time, was to grow the biggest carrot. Because if you've ever harvested and tried to can carrots, you don't want to work with these tiny little carrots just because it's so time consuming. And it's already time consuming in itself. Like, it takes at least 2 days to harvest, to canning, and getting this all done. So I just literally pulled all these carrots this day, washed them up really well, and pulled the tops off, and then I took them inside and put them into bread bags. So it honestly took me a couple hours to get this done, which I'm really glad I did get this done because surgery day was coming, and I just got to it. I had all the energy to get this done this day, and I'm so happy that I did. So after getting everything washed up, I took everything inside. So these are really big Amish bowls that you're seeing here. So there's quite a bit of carrots. And there's only 3, so there's 3 varieties here. So this first one is our biggest carrots. It's Danvers 126. And then we have the long Imperator carrot. And you can just see here, they are super long carrots. And then we have the Nantes, I think that's how you say it, carrot. They're a lot shorter than all this variety that I have here. So going back and talking about these different varieties, the Danvers 126, it dates back into the 1870s. This strain of 126 was actually improved, I guess, in the 1940s. They are a long 6 to 8 inch long carrot, and they are a sweet flavor, and they store really well if you clean them after harvest, and they are tolerant to frost and heat, and they actually work well in all types of soils, including clay and heavy soils, and they are disease resistant, so it's a really good carrot to grow. So then we move on to the long Imperator carrot. It is a longer carrot. It does well in really loose soils. It's suited for all uses, and it has excellent flavor, which I didn't find this one as sweet as the Danvers 126, so it could just be the soil that I grew it in. Then you move on to the Nantes carrot. They're a dual-purpose carrot. They're crisp, moist, sweet, and tender. The roots are orange, and if you look at the top and the bottom, they almost look identical of their roundness, and they grow to about 6 inches long. You can grow them in early spring and as well as winter storage, so they're a really good carrot to grow as well. So I just bagged all of these into bread bags, and I'm going to store them into my refrigerator until I'm ready to can them later on. But to our surprise, after my husband had surgery, this next clip right here was way after my husband's surgery, and to our surprise, my oldest son and my 2 little boys got pneumonia. And my oldest son, he's the one that has Down syndrome, and he was the one that ended up in a hospital. And my 2 youngest ones, thank goodness, did not end up in a hospital, but they ended up on breathing treatments and antibiotics, and it was just a mess. So my husband had surgery on Monday, and then that next Tuesday evening, my son ended up in the hospital for 5 days. So it was such a rough week that we went through. But I'm trying to look at it more positive now that we are all home together as a family again, and it could have been way worse, which it was pretty bad, but I'm just glad that all the boys are getting so much better, and we had so many people praying for us, and I actually would love continued prayers for my kids just to be fully healed from this pneumonia. I do not ever want to go through this again, and I absolutely feel so sorry for the people that have to be in the hospital for longer than what we had to be in there for. So it just makes you look at life a little bit differently, but I'm grateful for the good Lord that answered our prayers, and now that we're home. So we just had a lot going on this last week. But now that we are home, we are grateful that we are home, and a few days later we started working on those carrots. So they've been in the refrigerator for quite a few days. And after sitting in a hospital for that many days, me and my husband were ready to do something. So we decided to start with the carrots, and honestly, this is the time that we're canning a bunch of stuff. We're in the thick of our garden right now. So we actually canned up a bunch of other stuff this week, but we wanted to start with carrots just because carrots take forever, and it really did. It took all day long to can all of these carrots. So after the carrots were in the refrigerator for quite a few days, I just decided to pull them out and skin all of them. Last year I didn't skin any of my carrots, but I noticed quite a bit of dirt inside of the cracks and crevices of these carrots, and I just wanted to go ahead and take the skins off, which there is nutrients in the skins if you keep them on. But this time I'm just taking them off. It took quite a bit of time. But we have our canner going, we have some hot water going, and we usually put our jars in the oven to disinfect. Then we pull the hot jars out and put a little bit of salt in our jars, and we like to do the raw pack method where we put just raw carrots inside the hot jar and then take the hot water and just fill it up to the right amount, and then we will process them. And this day we actually got 25 pints of carrots, and that's basically our whole entire garden bed, which some of my kids ate a lot of carrots, like fresh eating carrots. I just love watching the kids enjoy the garden just as much as me and my husband. So I'm very excited that we actually got 25 pints for our spring harvest, and then again we're going to be replanting in a couple months for our winter growing. So we're going to have all of these canned carrots for winter, and then on top of our fresh eating carrots that will already be in the beds that I'm not going to harvest unless we need them to cook with. So it's going to be quite a bit of carrots to eat this winter, so I'm excited about that. I want to thank you guys for watching our video today. It's definitely not something I thought I was going to be talking about this whole time in this carrot video, but it's our life, and I want to thank you guys, whoever's going to continue to pray for my kids for complete healing, and I'm just grateful that we're home, and I'm grateful for the harvest that we got on these carrots, and we got so much more to preserve. So hopefully we will see you next week, if not the week after.